Hello everyone, welcome to a C-Stone Lowdown week 1. It's kind of the first week of us doing this, and really what these are is going to be some video updates about what's going on at the church and just a little more personal way for us as the leadership of the church to get in contact with you and say what's going on here at the church, let you guys know, but also to give you kind of a devotional thought, and especially during this time I think it'd be really good for us to during our weeks kind of continue to connect at Cornerstone and continue to connect with each other and how we can be pursuing a Christ-like life in our lives. So each week we'll kind of do two things. One will be a devotional thought that we can be thinking about and processing how we can apply it to our lives. And the second will be an update on how stuff is going at the church and any announcements we might have during this kind of update you guys on this coronavirus and all that kind of stuff as well. So the first thing is an update this week. First off, we're in a new kind of room for us. This is the upstairs room right outside the soundboard. It's a new meeting space that a couple weeks ago me and my mom put together, so we're excited to be able to use this when we actually can meet in person. It'll be great, but it'll be a good space for us to work at the church and just have a space where we can be coming together continuously. The second thing, we talked about this on Sunday, which is the board decided, and the leadership of the church, that we're going to kind of give you guys updates in 2-week increments in terms of this no in-person meetings. So we announced this on Sunday that we're going to have another 2 weeks of no in-person meetings, which does take us through Easter Sunday, unfortunately, and through Good Friday. So we are not going to be having Easter service or Good Friday service in person, which is unfortunate. And obviously, if something changes in the next week, and that would be fantastic, we could have that back. But it doesn't look like it will be. So we're going to plan on doing our online streaming services for both Good Friday at 6:30 p.m. That'll be on our YouTube channel on our website. You can find that. And also on Easter morning at 10 o'clock. So you guys can plan on that. In the midst of that, our men's Bible study is actually kicking back up. Brett sent out an email to all our guys this week. If you didn't get that, you can email me, Logan at cornerstone.la. I would love to forward that to you so you can take part. We're going to be doing at 8 o'clock every single Saturday. We're going to every single week, especially during this time. We don't have a bunch of commitments that we have to be at in person, at least on Saturday mornings, so we would love to get some more people involved there. And we're going through 1 Peter, and we're just going to do it via Zoom meeting. If you haven't checked that out, it's an app. Just kind of you can get on a computer or your phone to do online meetings together. We can watch a video there, and it'll be a good time. So we're going to jump into our devotional thought now for the day, which is going to be rooted in Philippians chapter 2, verses 1 through 5. And I'm going to read this to you guys now. It's just kind of looking at the attitude of Christ, and Paul is encouraging us to seek the attitude that Christ had in our lives. And I think that is applicable now as so much of our life has become insular and not being able to interact with other people. So really in our interactions with other people, in our interactions with our families, how can we have this attitude of Christ? So in verses 1 through 5 it says this: "Is there any encouragement from belonging to Christ? Any comfort from his love? Any fellowship together in the Spirit? Are your hearts tender and compassionate? Then make me truly happy by agreeing wholeheartedly with each other, loving one another and working together with one mind and purpose. Don't be selfish. Don't try to impress others. Be humble, thinking of others as better than yourselves. Don't look out for only your own interests, but take an interest in others too. You must have the same attitude that Christ Jesus did." I think this is an important reminder for us about our attitudes. I think, especially right now, it's easy for us to have, like I said, insular attitudes, really focused on ourselves, really self-interested. Also, it's easy for us to get really just frustrated and short with people as we are spending a lot of time inside our homes, and especially with our families, as we're bored and we have just spend a lot of time around each other. So God is reminding us here to have a Christ-like attitude in our lives. And it does talk about specifically how do we love each other like inside the church, which I think we've talked about a lot in the past couple weeks. I encouraged you guys a couple weeks ago to every single week reach out to 2 people from Cornerstone, ask how they're doing, ask how you can pray for them, and ask if you could help in any way. And I continue to encourage you to do that. And even this can be a reminder today. Can you text or call a couple people from Cornerstone and just see how you can be encouraging them or helping them at this time. But I also think this is something we can think about in terms of how do we love people in our neighborhood. I think it's kind of a unique time where most people in your neighborhood are home right now because they kind of have to be. It's unique in that way, but it's also unique in that it's like, well, it's kind of hard for us to actually talk to other people right now because we have to kind of keep our distance and all those kind of things. But I was just encouraged over this last week. I mean, if you guys heard the Next Door app, But it's kind of an app where neighbors in the neighborhood can post about stuff, and if they need something or something happened or whatever kind of thing. But I've been looking at a Nextdoor app, and I've been seeing a ton of people just like requesting things like, hey, I need help with this kind of thing, and seeing our neighbors respond to that and fill that gap and fill those needs. And I was just encouraged, like, Paul here is encouraging us that we should not be focused on our own interests, but also in the interest of others. And we talked last year about our Art of Neighboring series about how God is calling us to love our neighbors, not just love people inside of the church, but also to love people outside of the church, people who literally live around us, are actual neighbors, and how we can fill their needs and love them, not just because we want to share the love of Jesus with them, but because God commands us to love our neighbors. And so that's my one encouragement to you is how can you have an attitude of love and not self-interest towards not just our church, but also the people around you actually in your neighborhood. How can you love them well? Can you shoot them a text, send them a call this week and just say, hey, can I get anything for you? How you doing? I think it'd be a great time for you and all of us as a church to reach out to people in our neighborhood, as there are more people at home than ever right now. So really, how can God's church fill that gap that people need in our lives? And hey, maybe you don't know your neighbors even. I'm guilty of that for sure. There's some neighbors I'm like, I just never actually got to know them. I see them, I don't know their names. Maybe you can go and knock on their door and stand 10 feet back from the door and say hi and introduce yourself or something, just to try to fill that gap, get to know people. And this could be a good time for us to be able to, even though it's a unique way, to focus on loving our neighbors as well as we love Cornerstone and the people here at the church. So that's our Cornerstone or C-Stone Lowdown for the week. Really love you guys at the church. If you guys need anything, continue to lean into our church. Let me know, and I will try as best I can to connect you with resources and people as we can get through this time together as a community. Love you guys. I'm praying for you all, and we will see you on Sunday.